Most people using AI in the slowest way possible. They open ChatGPT, they copy an email, they paste it in, they ask for a reply, then they copy the reply back into Gmail, and somehow after all of that, they call it an automation. But the real future of AI is not you babysitting a chatbot, it is AI sitting inside the tools you already use, quietly doing the admin work before you even ask. And that is exactly what today's sponsor Fixer is trying to do. Fixer is an AI assistant for your inbox. It works with Gmail and Outlook, organizes your emails, drafts replies in your voice, and can even take meeting notes for you. So in this video, I'm going to show you what Fixer actually does, how the setup actually works, how it fits into a real workday, and why tools like this are probably where the AI productivity is going next. Because the goal is not to have more tools, the goal is to have less admin. And because Fixer is sponsoring today's video, they're actually giving me an exclusive link in which you can get 25% off your first month of subscription and a 7-day free trial, so you can try out the software risk-free. So if you run a business, freelance, manage clients, work in sales, or just have a job where people constantly email you, your inbox eventually becomes a second job. You wake up, open Gmail, and immediately get hit with a wall of unread messages. Some need a reply, some are just FYI, some are newsletters you forgot you signed up for in 2021, and some are actually important, but they are buried under 40 random notifications. The problem is not just email. The problem is the tiny decisions emails force you to make all day. Should I reply to this now? Is this urgent? Do I need to schedule something? What did we agree in this meeting? That is where Fixer comes in. Fixer is basically an AI executive assistant that lives inside your existing email workflow and helps surface important messages and tasks. Not another dashboard, not another tab you need to remember, not another AI tool where you have to engineer the perfect prompt. It plugs it into Gmail or Outlook and starts helping with the repetitive part of communication. And according to Fixer, it is already managing over 350,000 inboxes for mostly client-facing professionals, people who live in their email all day. So let's start at the beginning, the setup. Setup, connecting your email. This part is genuinely simple, which matters because most productivity tools die at the setup screen. You go to Fixer's site and you click start with Gmail or start with Outlook. And here's where you just grant permission. And once you do that, that's basically it. You just allow Fixer access, and Fixer describes this as one-click setup with no configuration needed. No rules to build, no folders to design, no settings menu you have to figure out before it does anything. Now, once you're connected, Fixer starts learning how you write. It looks at your past emails, it picks up your tone, your phrasing, and how long your replies usually are. That is what powers the reply drafting later, so the more email history it can see, the more the draft sounds like you. One practical tip is to give it a little time after connecting. The first hour or so, it is getting oriented, and after that, the features start kicking in. There's a 7-day free trial, so you can test it out on your real inbox and back out if it's not for you. Feature 1, automatic inbox organization. The first thing that you'll notice is that your inbox looks different. Instead of treating every email like it deserves the same attention, Fixer sorts incoming mail into categories automatically. Emails that need a reply, emails that are just an FYI, marketing and newsletter style messages, notifications. And this matters because most inboxes fail for one simple reason. Everything looks equally important. A client email, a calendar update, a receipt, a newsletter, and a random automated notification all sit in the same pile. So your brain has to sort everything manually. That's not deep work, that is digital housekeeping. With Fixer, you open your inbox and immediately see what actually needs your attention. And you're not locked into its default either. You can adjust the categories, turn on ones that you want, and turn off the ones that you don't. You can also set email rules. So if you want messages from your boss or a key client to always land in your to respond list, you can tell Fixer once and it handles it from then on. So just come on over to categorization, custom rules, and then in this box, I can essentially say any email that comes in from contact@theaigrid.com. I can put this in FYI to respond, any section that I wish. And this is one of the biggest shifts with AI productivity. The most useful AI tools are not always the ones that generate the flashiest content. Sometimes the useful ones are tools that remove 100 small decisions from your day. You're no longer digging, you're deciding. Feature 2, draft replies in your voice. The second big feature, and this is the one that most people come for, is reply drafting. For emails that need a response, Fixer writes a draft and has it waiting for you. You see, most people use AI to write their emails, but they do it manually. They copy the email to the chatbot, then they write a professional response. The AI gives them something that sounds like a LinkedIn comment from a corporate bot, and nobody wants that. What Fixer is doing is different. Because it studied your past emails, the drafts are meant to match your tone and style. So if you're short and direct, the replies are short and direct. If you're more polished and formal with clients, it should adapt to that. It also uses the context. If you've had prior conversations with that person, it pulls that in so the reply actually makes sense instead of being polite but empty. So here's the workflow in practice. You open the email, the draft is immediately already there, and you do one of three things. You either send it if it's good, you mark it a quick edit if it's a one line off, or you delete it and write your own if the AI missed its mark. And that's the key point here. AI doesn't send emails for you, it drafts them. You review, edit, and approve everything before it goes out. And that matters because for most people, the scary part of AI email tools is not whether they can write, it's whether they might send something stupid without permission. Instead of starting every reply from a blank page, you're starting from a draft that is most of the way there. That might only save a few minutes per email, but if you reply to 20 emails a day, it compounds very quickly. Feature 3, meeting notes and follow-ups. The next part is meetings, because email is only one half of the admin problem. The other half is what happens after calls. You join a meeting, you talk for 30 minutes, someone says, great, let's follow up on that, and then nobody writes the follow-up properly, or someone writes notes in a random document, or the action items disappear into the void. Fixer has a note taker that can join your calls, transcribe the conversation, and create summaries with key decisions and action items. It supports Google Meet and Microsoft Teams, which makes sense because those are the meeting tools a lot of Gmail and Outlook users already live in. And this is useful for a very specific reason. Most people do not need more meeting recordings, they need the useful part of the meeting extracted. What was decided, who needs to do what should the follow-up email say? And because everything's transcribed, it's searchable. You can find exactly what someone said by searching the text instead of scrubbing through a recording. But here's the part that ties it all together. Because Fixer also lives in your inbox, it can draft the follow-up email based on the meeting. The great talking to you, here's what we agreed, here are the next steps email. Meeting happens, notes are created, action items are pulled out, follow-up draft is ready. And again, you review it before anything goes out. That is the difference between AI as a novelty and AI as infrastructure. One gives you a call output, the other removes a step from your actual workflow. Feature 4 is Fixer Chat and scheduling. Now, if you go beyond the basic plan, Fixer has more advanced features. On the professional plan, you get Fixer Chat, which gives you instant answers from your inbox and meeting notes. And this is the part that becomes really powerful if you deal with a lot of context, because your inbox is basically a private chat knowledge database, client history, project updates, meeting decisions, feedback. But normally, all of that is trapped inside search. You have to remember the right keyword, who sent it, and roughly when it happened. And if you don't remember those things, good luck. With a chat layer over communication history, you can just ask a person, what did we do with this client? Which emails still need a reply? What are my important emails? The professional plan also helps scheduling across teams and time zones. So instead of endless just Tuesday work, no, how about Thursday, back and forth, it helps coordinate the time for you. You can also upload files to train it further, and there's a HubSpot integration if you run client work through a CRM. This is where AI assistants clearly are heading, not just answering general questions, sitting on top of your work and helping you operate faster. That is a much more useful category than write me a poem about productivity. At least, unless your inbox is somehow full of poems, in which case you have a different problem. Security and control. Now, because this is email, we have to talk about security and control. You're not connecting an AI tool to a random notes app, you're connecting it to your inbox. So this part matters. Fixer is Google verified and Microsoft verified, and you must understand that Fixer has passed the security reviews required for those platforms. It is also SOC 2 Type 2 certified, ISO/IEC 27001 certified, GDPR compliant, and that data is encrypted at every stage, and that your email data is not used to train external AI models. But the practical point for viewers is this: you stay in control. Fixer drafts emails, it doesn't send them for you. You can review the drafts, you can correct the categories, and if you delete your Fixer account, Fixer will revert your inbox to how it was before. And that doesn't mean you should ignore privacy. You should always read the permissions before connecting any AI tool to your email. But for a tool in this category, these are the kind of controls you want to see. So who is Fixer for? I wouldn't say this is for someone who gets 3 emails a day. If your inbox is already clean, you probably don't need an AI assistant living it. This is for people whose inbox has become a part of their job. Consultants, recruiters, sales teams, creators working with sponsors, founders, agency owners, basically anyone who spends a meaningful part of their day sorting messages, writing replies, scheduling meetings, and trying to remember what happened on calls. If your email is just communication, Fixer might be useful. But if your email is your operating system, this is where it makes the most sense. Because the product is not really selling AI email, it's selling a cleaner workday, fewer open loops, fewer blank replies, fewer forgotten follow-ups. Here's a quick breakdown of what it costs because that matters. Fixer has a 7-day free trial on every plan, so you can test it before paying. The starter plan is listed at $22 per user per month when billed annually, or $30 per user per month monthly. That gives you your organization for one inbox and calendar, draft replies in your invoice, and meeting notes. That's the core experience, and for most individuals, that is enough. The professional plan is listed at $37.50 per month when billed annually, or $50 per user per month monthly. That adds multiple inboxes and calendars, scheduling across teams, time zones, Fixer Chat, the HubSpot integration, uploaded files to train Fixer, and onboarding with a specialist. If you're juggling multiple inboxes or running client work through a CRM, this is the one. And then there's an enterprise plan for larger teams with bespoke pricing and features like SSO, dedicated account management, and custom security tools. So if you're testing it as an individual, start with a free trial and connect to one inbox. Don't overcomplicate it. Just use it for a few days and ask one question. Did this reduce the amount of time I spent in email? Because that is the only metric that matters here. So that is Fixer, an AI assistant that organizes your inbox, drafts replies in your voice, and takes meeting notes inside the workflow you already use. And I think this category is important because it shows where AI is going next. If you want to try Fixer, you can try them for free with a 7-day free trial and 25% off your first month with the link in the description.